The United Workers' Party is calling on the government to immediately increase the school feeding and transportation subsidies to $3 million and is threatening to stage a protest march to express their dissatisfaction if the government does not act in a timely manner. UWP candidate for ancillary canneries Dominic Fede says many parents have expressed the incapability of sending their children to school due to the high costs. He says there are a number of factors inhibiting children from obtaining an education.
The situation is very real. A lot of people are finding it very hard to go to school and to send their kids to school. The cost of transportation is an inhibiting scenario. And, the school feeding program is not sufficient for many families. The cost of textbooks, many families, whether they're working or unemployed, find it really, really tough. And the time has got to come whereby we have an interesting discussion as it relates to how do we make the cost of education more affordable and accessible to many families.
Fede says the government has stated the amount of money spent in the education sector. However, Fede questions whether it is enough. He says based on feedback from people, more needs to be done.
The government likes to say that they spend somewhere in the region of about 18% of the total recurrent expenditure on education. That's a sizable amount. But is it working? Is it reaching many families? Are people finding the status quo tenable? No. The answer is no. And so we have to look at this. And I think that it's important that we have a national discussion. So we are very pleased with the level of feedback we received from a number of parents who have called us, who have actually met us in the meetings that we have had throughout communities and said to us how they feel about the education system and how they find their own engagement with the education system. It's a terrible, terrible feeling for many families at this time.
Fede says the government must act quickly to prevent more children from suffering. Janelle Norville, NBC News.